My only regret is that I waited a whole year to buy this controller. I should have bought this thing a year ago. What's going on, everybody? It's your man Cleveland Terry, and today we're going to be talking about a little something different. So, with the announcement of the DDJ-1000 coming out for Rekordbox, the 2-channel mixer, I figured, you know what? I haven't talked about my DDJ-1000, and I haven't talked about my experience moving over and figuring out if the DDJ-1000 was right for me, and also if I could move over to Rekordbox and be comfortable. So we're going to talk about that here today. So if any of you actually looked at my previous video on why you shouldn't move from the SX2 to the SX3, you will know that when I first saw the SX3 come out, I was really disappointed. The DDJ-1000 was announced at NAMM. I thought it was the best controller to ever exist. It came out with Rekordbox software only, just Rekordbox software. So when the SX3 was announced, I thought, okay, perfect. We're getting the DDJ-1000 for SERATO. It's gonna have the same form factor, but it's gonna be a little different because of the SERATO system. And then the SX3 came out. You know my opinion on the matter. Now, I'm sure some of you are going to say the SX3, hey man, that's a great controller. It is a great update to the already fantastic SX2. And yeah, it is a good upgrade. I mean, they've done a lot of things, but it's really hard to say that it's a good update when you saw what Pioneer could do versus what they did do. So today we're going to talk about that. Now, again, the SX2 is a great controller, so is the SX3. It fulfilled a lot of things that I needed fulfilled when I didn't want to use my turntables. So as a whole, the SX2 gives you everything you need. You got some pretty decent jog wheels with good touch control. You have 4 channels, 4 dedicated channels to mix if you want to do some of that, you know, multiple track syncing and mixing. That's all for you. I don't typically use it for that, but that's okay. The 4 channels are solid. One of the channels, actually 2 of the channels, do double as mic channels. So you do lose one of those channels if you were to use a mic. However, the good thing about this particular use of the mic channel is you get full access to all of your EQs. Normally speaking, when you're dealing with a dedicated mic channel, you typically have the high and you have the low. You never have the mid. Well, in this case, you do have access to all of that, so you can really get into those effects as far as adjusting your mic balance the way you like it. So on the SX3, it gave you everything that the SX2 gave you, but the Channel 3 and Channel 4 mics were both XLR, and then it gave you a 3rd optional mic in the front, which was a 1/4-inch input. So you got everything you need. You got everything you want. It's a good looking board, so why would I want to upgrade? Now, I saw the DDJ-1000 a year ago at NAMM, and I saw it and I automatically fell in love with it, but a couple of things that really turned me off: the fact that A, it was Rekordbox only, B, it was Rekordbox only, and C, it was Rekordbox. That really turned me off. I was really concerned I wasn't going to be able to, not so much be able to use Rekordbox, but just not really like it. I mean, it hasn't actually been out that long, and when I previously looked at the software, I just wasn't really excited about it. It was kind of glitchy. The controls were a little off. Like the load times, I hit the load button, I was waiting half a second for it to load. I can't have that in my DJ sets. So I just said, you know, never mind. And then the update came out, and which I think was 5.0 or something like that, and then there was a couple of bug fixes. I went to Rekordbox, started using it, and realized that Rekordbox is a very capable DVS and controller software. I mean, it has all the bells and whistles that you need, maybe some more than others. So then I bit the bullet and then started actually playing with Rekordbox, and with the help of a little software called Record Buddy, I was able to move all of my SERATO playlists and cue points and all that stuff over to Rekordbox, and it made the transition much easier. So then I decided, you know what, screw it. I've been seeing enough of this thing. It's time. It's finally time to move over. So I bought the DDJ-1000. It arrived. The moment I took it out of the box, I was absolutely in love. It is a beautiful, beautiful piece of machinery. Like the SS2 and SX3, it gives you a 4-channel mixer. Dedicated 4 channels on this one though. On this one, the mic channel, the single mic channel, and the secondary mic channel are actually on their own channel strip. While you don't have access to your mids, you do have 2 real dedicated mics that can be used at the same time, and it leaves all of your faders alone. So a check goes to the DDJ-1000 over the SX2 and SX3. Also, it gives you access to your color sound effects with options over here. On the SX3, it does give you the color effects built in. It doesn't give it to you on the SX2, but neither here nor there. The only thing I really use on color effects is a high pass filter. So not really that big of a deal to me, but it does give you that access. Unlike both the SX2 and 3, gives you your headphone controls right on the face of this thing. And that's probably one of the biggest selling points because everything's on the face. They don't put anything on the front that should be on the top. So like on the front of the SX2 and SX3, you have all of your inputs, your input selections, your crossfade. On the SX3, you have your third mic 1/4 inch into the front, which is just silly to me because if you're DJing with it, a 1/4 inch mic shoved in the front is going to get in the way. So I like the fact that everything on the DDJ-1000 is either on the top or on the back of the controller. The only thing on the front is the headphone jack, and that is the only thing that you need on the front. The S9 does this too. I don't like how the knobs are in the front because I can't just touch it and see what's going on. This is the darkest part of the controller of the mixer. So now I gotta look down, I gotta look over, I gotta make sure I'm hitting the right knob. It just gets in the way. Sound-wise, the headroom level is considerably higher on the 1000 than it is on the SX2. That was probably one of the biggest complaints of the SX2. The headroom just didn't compete with all the other controllers out there. The SX3 does make an improvement to that, so that's great. But I love the sound coming out of the DDJ-1000. It sounds really, really good. Let's take a look at the actual platters here. So let's turn these boys on. So before I turn these guys on, I want to talk a little bit about one other huge thing. On the SX3 and 2, they still give you this ugly ass wall wart that you can't put anywhere. I don't know why they keep doing this, but this is the dumbest thing for a controller that's typically going into some form of a surge protector, channel strip, whatever. This is way too big to go in anywhere. On the DDJ-1000, they take the wall wart and then they put a pass-through power to a single port. Look how beautiful this is. Look at the difference. Look at this. This is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Great, ridiculous. Every single DJ system, DJ hardware should come out with things like this. On this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful piece of hardware, the one thing that is clearly the selling point of this hardware is obviously the platters. The platters here are your standard CDJ platters. So you get full-size platters compressed into a system that is not much larger than the SX2. The displays are gorgeous, nice and bright. The resolution is really clear. The jog wheels are super, super sensitive, and they really, really, really give you a great feel to them. I had never really used CDJs before, so I come from these guys right here. So when I moved over to here, it was a little harder because I realized once you lift it off a little bit, they move again, even though your hand is on the jog wheel. So you get these touch-sensitive, pressure-controlled jog wheels that just add a whole new element into your DJing. It's a little like vinyl, and it's a little like these jog wheels right here. And it took a minute to get used to figure out exactly how much pressure I needed to apply to get them to work properly. We have your waveforms, your BPMs, your timer, your key. If there is a key on here, it would show right over here. And then what the speed is currently at. You also get your jog wheel adjust, and then you have your control, your multi-purpose knob here. As I said before, on your channel faders, you have all of your switchable options right here, your USB-A, your line. If you're using your DVS, your USB-B, this does have 2 for your computers, so you can switch between two computers. The SX2 does not, but the SX3 does. So essentially, it's giving you your DJM-900 NX2 mixer, and it's also giving you the Nexus CDJs, all built in to a nice compact device. Yo, future me here real quick, and I was just editing my video and I just wanted to mention something here. The mixer and two CDJs will cost you a little over $6,000. Now I know they're not exactly the same, so we can't compare them apples to apples. But what I can say is the functionality, what it gives you, it's giving you a lot for the $1,200 price point that they're selling the DDJ-1000 at. In my first video when I talked about the DDJ-1000 and the SX3, and I said I can already see the writing on the wall that Pioneer is looking to totally take over the DJ industry. So they come out with fantastic products for the record box and so-so products for Serato. Clearly, with the DDJ-800 coming out and giving you pretty much everything else that you would ever want, they're trying to take away any reason for you to want to move over to Serato, or at least come and check out Rekordbox because it is Rekordbox only. They are done with Serato. It is obvious. The writing is on the wall. They are done. And I said this last year when the DDJ-1000 came out and when the SX3 came out half-assed. I'm saying it again with the DDJ-800. They are done with Serato. All in the effects, it gives you the standard stuff. It gives you, your low cut EQ, your standard EQ, your spiral, your flanger, your phaser, your tone, your pitch, your enigma, all of those things that are just kind of a standard of Pioneer mixers. Well, it gives you everything right here. So I absolutely love it. So it was a little hard for me moving over from the S9 or the Rain mixers because I wasn't used to having to switch over to a channel. It took a minute to get used to, but now that I'm used to it, I love it. I love the fact that it's there. I love the fact that it has all these different options and that you can affect everything right here without thinking about it. But besides that one little learning curve, everything else on this thing is fantastic. So there's been this common statement I've seen online that, oh, Pioneer, the DDJ-1000 is great, except for Rekordbox. Pass, I'm not doing that, screw that. And I'm gonna tell you this right now. Rekordbox software is legit. And if you've actually used Rekordbox software, you would understand that. A lot of people are kind of saying these things very misguided, not really testing the software. I have been testing the software. You know I have because you've seen my videos. And I'm gonna tell you that I don't have a single problem with Rekordbox. It's incredibly stable and it gives you a lot of features that I wish some of the other ones had. And we'll talk about that on my Rekordbox review later on. But I'm gonna tell you, if you are not completely stuck on Serato and you have the option or you're thinking about, should I move over to Rekordbox to get this DDJ-1000? Well, knowing that you can use Rekordbuddy to move all of your stuff over and it still retains all of your cue points, I'm gonna tell you this. This is the best controller I've ever used. One of the most important parts of DJing is having fun, is enjoying yourself. While I didn't have a problem with the SX2 or the SX3, I'm gonna tell you this. When I used this always felt very utilitarian, meaning it got the job done, it's not sexy, it does what you need it to do, and it does it very, very well. But do I have fun using it? Until I got my DDJ-1000 and I realized just how more involved I was using these platters versus using these platters. It elevated my DJing with controllers to a different level. Of course, I can do the same things on here, but I wasn't as involved as I am with this one. And you might say, well, maybe it's a new car smell.
Sometimes when I get nervous, I stick my fingers under my arms and I smell them like that.
Maybe, but every time I touch this, I honestly don't think about my turntables. And I think that these are probably the closest things to actually having turntables versus moving over to like the Denon Primes. Okay, the Denon Primes are a different story altogether. But as a controller goes, as a jog wheel type controller, these guys right here are are some of the best. And I know it doesn't feel like a lot moving from this size platter to this size platter, but oh God, what a huge difference. And the pressure sensitivity of these platters makes these things great. And with the DDJ-800 that came out, it's pretty much this guy and this guy had a baby, and then they came out with the DDJ-800. It's still gonna give you the smaller jog wheels, and for some that may be enough. If it's a matter of price and you can save up to get the 1000 over the 800, then you get the 1000 over the 800. It's by far the better controller of the two, even though the 800 does give you a lot of the functionality that the 1000 does. It does not give you the jog wheels. So the jog wheels alone are worth the upgrade, and I think you should do it. Do I have any regrets moving over to Rekordbox? No. My only regret is that I waited a whole year to buy this controller. I should have bought this thing a year ago. Even now, I would say it's still the best controller on the market for what it does. And if you don't like Rekordbox, we all know you can move over to Virtual DJ. Algorithms, DJ Pro also gives you access, but it doesn't give you access to the waveforms on the DDJ. It's just empty space, for now anyway. Virtual DJ does have the waveforms, and it's pretty close functionality-wise to it. You are using the Virtual DJ effects, but for some reason they're not as bad using them as pad effects versus using them on here. I don't know why. Maybe because you have a little more control over the pads than you do with just an on and off function, but they are a little better on there. But I am using Rekordbox right now because I am going to be doing a review of it, and it's going to be coming out shortly. When I said that I was going to be doing a review, somebody said, you know, why do you people make reviews about software? It's who you are and it's what you do that makes a DJ, not the software, blah, 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 blah. Sure, you're right. It doesn't matter what software you use, but it also doesn't matter what car you drive or what bike you ride or, you know, what Apple you buy from the store. They're all going to give you what you need. And surely knowing what a software does and deciding for yourself if it works better for you or not, I think goes a long way. I mean, the ability to choose for yourself is inherently human. The ability to choose things based upon taste are inherently human. So when people make reviews, like myself, make reviews on software, on hardware, could you do it yourself? Yes, but having a different perspective on it goes a long way. If you don't like these reviews, then I mean, I'm sorry. I can't do anything for you. People ask for these things. I'm going to give people what they want and also give them what I want because nobody really asked about the DDJ-1000, but I just felt like it was time to talk about it from my perspective, which is the only perspective I have, by the way. Alright guys, if you found this thing useful, hit that like button. If you found it really useful, hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you're using and if you have been using the DDJ-1000 or you're trying to get the DDJ-800 or maybe you're sticking with SERATO and sticking with the SX2 and the SX3. Guys, always a pleasure. And if I don't talk to you later, we'll talk soon. Peace.